the Leopards of Lafayette College under the guidance of 10th-year head coach Terry Mangan, the 2010 Patriot League Coach of the Year. Coach, an opening statement, if you would. And first of all, thanks very much for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me on, James. 10 years, holy cow. Just like it is with everybody else, I'm sure, it's an exciting time for our team right now. We're in week 2 of practice, and we're definitely a different group just because we have a lot of different faces. We're probably a little bottom heavy roster-wise. I think 25 of our 37 are freshmen and sophomores. We try to do things a little bit differently this year. We didn't compete anywhere in the fall. We kind of got off to a little bit of a later start. We spent most of September in the weight room doing some conditioning, doing some small group stuff. I thought that would help our freshmen get a little better acclimated to campus life and lacrosse life as well, rather than just kind of throwing them right into the pool as early as possible, as I've been guilty of in the past, perhaps. And we spent most of our October, doing our 20-hour-a-week stuff and doing inter-squad scrimmages on the weekends. So, we really haven't had a real taste of competition and haven't seen any different colored jerseys. We had a meeting last week, and we had some of the guys speak, and one of the seniors got up and said, geez, everybody asked me over Christmas break, how we're going to be this year, and he said, I honestly don't know what to tell them. I don't know, and a lot of people agreed with him, and so did I. I like what we're doing right now. We're focusing on competition. We're focusing on work ethic and toughness and developing confidence. As wise coaches have always said, confidence is the key to all the locks. And with a young group, we certainly need to have confidence in ourselves. If we're going to have any amount of success, and I think we will. And it certainly helps to kind of smooth out the rough edges that all teams have, especially younger groups as well. So, we're still. We still have competition for a lot of spots. I like to think we got the goaltending situation figured out, but you never know. We're probably going to start, 2 freshmen on attack. We might have 3 freshmen in there a lot of times. Our midfield group is probably our most upper class heavy group. With 3 seniors, Colin Serling, Greg Alice, and Doug Prusoff probably being the first group. And defensively, we have new faces as well. Veterans of the team, but maybe a lot of guys that quite hadn't played a whole lot in the past. So, I kind of like where we are right now, even though, we certainly have a long way to go.
Coach, this is James Greene at the league. Just was looking at your schedule. You kind of have somewhat of the reverse of what Holy Cross faces. 3 of your first 5 are at home. You actually open at home on the 18th against Providence, and I'm sure that you're as hopeful as everybody else here in the Lehigh Valley that we keep the snow away, and we have good weather for that opener on the 18th against Providence. So talk a little bit about the early going of your schedule and what you hope to see out of your club in those first couple games.
Well, even the snow might not be there. I'm sure it'll be windy, so we'll definitely be feeling winter up there, regardless. For us, we've really emphasized a day by day kind of work ethic. The old, let's make today better than yesterday and tomorrow better than today. I really believe, that we have a group that's going to get better and better, and certainly be playing our best lacrosse, in our second half of the year. But all that said, we certainly have a challenging early schedule as well. There's some sneaky good teams on there for sure. Providence is definitely a sneaky good team. With Binghamton. Scott Nelson is a heck of a coach, and I know they're going to be a heck of a lot better. And you have Matt Poske at Wagner, and and Brian Brecht at Rutgers. So we got a lot of new coaches on teams that we're going to be playing. We have we scheduled 3 scrimmages this year, which is probably a lot for most teams, including starting this weekend. But I think, that'll help us in a lot of ways, just getting a little bit of game experience without necessarily having the scoreboard on. So, our goal come February 18th, no matter where we are, who we're playing, is to feel prepared and feel confident and be able to, string one good minute after another and put it together in that fashion. And so, I really like to believe, and I think our guys are pointing in that direction, that we're going to be able to do those things.
Any questions for Terry and Lafayette from our friends from the media on the call today?
Yeah, Terry, Eddie Timanis here from USA Today.
Hey,
How are you doing? Good. A couple of years ago, you guys were kind of regarded as the surprise team among those of us who are supposed to know what we're talking about, but often don't. Are you kind of taking any of that to the, talking to the younger guys about that, saying, hey, you never know what's possible here? How are you kind of approaching that with you then? And how are the veteran guys kind of trying to show that to them?
Well, thanks for asking, Eddie. That's a great question. For us, we don't spend a heck of a lot of time reminiscing about the good old days, but we talk a lot about the processes. We have we still have guys on that team, guys that got some playing time on some of those good teams, and we got to remind guys, like, we just didn't roll out of bed one morning and look around and say, hey, we're pretty good. We could beat some good teams. There was a long process that went into that. Guys that would challenge each other on the practice field, in the weight room, conditioning. Guys that weren't afraid to get after each other in practice. And develop that chemistry, develop that confidence. It's those are the kind of things, and I think all the coaches believe that those are the things that bring about success. When you can have that kind of work ethic and believe in yourselves enough, where you're not afraid to do those things in practice, and not be afraid to hurt your friends' feelings, if you will. And we were able to do that. And to be frank, Eddie, we lost that. We lost that edge, in 2011. We didn't quite have that confidence every day, and we didn't go after each other as much as we could, and that helped us. And I feel like that's something that's really important. So rather than necessarily focus on particular games right now, we're certainly worried about wins and losses. Trying to develop that work ethic and the process. If we could do all those things well, all the success and the good times all take care of themselves. But if you can't do those things when nobody's watching, then we're not going to be as prepared as we need to be on game day.
Very good. Good luck, Dan.
Thanks, Eddie.
Coach, this is Ed Lee with the Baltimore Sun. To take back the last question, do you want the players to, like you said, back in 2010, you guys went 8-6, first berth in Patriot League tournament in school history. Do you want the players to remember that, or would you rather they just forget about it?
I don't think you could ever tell guys to kind of forget the past, but you hope you could use those things to your advantage. You certainly have guys feeling like, hey, we've had success here, not too long ago. We need to get back to that. And I think everybody would be in agreement that, we'd certainly like to play at that kind of level again. But how can we do those things? And that's certainly where the coaching comes in, and certainly having the proper perspective comes in and says, you just can't do those things just because you say you want to do it, and let's remember, not just the games, but all the other things that went into getting there. It certainly wasn't an overnight thing. There was a lot of growth there. We learned from our mistakes and kept building on the things that were working for us. And we need to have those same building blocks now, that we had 2 or 3 years ago in order to get there. So, it says, hey, we all remember, and whether we were on those teams or whether we were in high school and looking at those teams and saying we want to be there, it's terrific. But the better we can understand, how that process works and what we need to do, the better our chances are of getting to a higher level again.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
You have any other questions for Terry from Lafayette?
Coach, this is Casey Vaught from Instant Lacrosse.
Hey, Casey.
How are you?
Good.
I'm just wondering, you speak about having a bottom-heavy roster, and considering that the top 3 scorers you bring back totaled 41 points, and Sterling Alice and Mike, can you talk about some of the guys you expect to sort of emerge this year as breakout players in their either freshman or sophomore seasons?
Well, I think, certainly looking at some of those young guys, we moved, I think you're probably talking about Mike Gallione, who played on attack for us last year. We moved him over to the midfield, and he's really taking to it. He's got really good vision, and he makes good decisions, and he's a good dodger. He's a terrific wing dodger. That seems to be his best spot. So I think he can help us in a number of ways. So I think him, another sophomore that we need to count on is Jake Mann as well, who was a bit of a journeyman his freshman year, but is certainly playing with a lot more confidence and needs to continue to work hard to be successul. But those are a couple of the sophomores that we think can help us in the midfield. On attack, we have Will Heffernan, who's a senior, who's played sparingly for a few years. They definitely played the most he ever did last year, but he's surrounded by a bunch of first-year guys. Brian Bach is a pretty dynamic lefty from Springford that's going to play for us. Corey Shirley from St. Joe's Prep is a pretty good inside presence. Sonny Round from Summit. He's a pretty fearless guy who plays with a lot of confidence, and I think those guys, they're going to get thrown in the deep end of the pool for sure. So we're hoping they're swimmers rather than sinkers. But I think those are guys that are fitting what you're thinking about. Guys that are going to get their uniform dirty. Certainly make some mistakes, but I think they're going to make a lot of good plays as well.